Paul's in Buntingford. Back to the key question, Paul, of what do you want society to learn from the Horizon scandal?
Hi, James.
Hello, mate.
First time I've ever called.
You sound a bit surprised. You didn't do it by accident. You didn't do it by accident, did you?
I didn't. It was a very much a spur of the moment thing.
Excellent. Well, I take that as a compliment. Thank you.
There's a couple of things, really. You mentioned before that we often see computer systems as being infallible, whereas humans often are fallible.
Yes.
I think one of the lessons we need to learn is that they're not.
Yes.
Ultimately, computer systems of all various sizes and complexities are built by humans, and as we know, humans are fallible.
Of course.
And the computer systems are only ever as good as the people that build them. The second thing I wanted to mention, I think it's probably the more important thing and the more sort of wide-reaching thing, is that the type of companies, and obviously we speak specifically about Fujitsu in the case of the post office scandal, these kind of large software companies often work on these large-scale projects. They're incentivized mostly by profit rather than serving, ultimate value to their customers. And this is, sorry, my background is I've been a software engineer for over 20 years, and I've worked for all kinds of different companies. I currently work for a large multinational finance company. So this is from a broad set of experience that I've had, and I'm sure if you spoke to anyone else in the industry, they'd probably tell you a similar story. They often, their sales tactics for selling these big systems into, both private and public sector companies are often led by sales departments rather than engineers and, actual sort of business process people. They're often incentivized to overpromise and underdeliver, give hugely unrealistic timeframes and capabilities to their potential customers, which often leads to the types of kind of botched implementations that you see all over the news, for the last sort of 20, 30 years, including systems that have been sold into the NHS and, as we've just seen with Post Office. And I think that we really need to learn that one of the problems here is that a lot of the companies that are buying these systems, specifically Post Office, NHS, so on, are ill-equipped to make value judgments on whether they're getting the right thing that they need, and
really
whether they're getting actual value out of these systems.
You might only have been in that department for 10 minutes. You've got no history. You've got no frame of reference for determining what's good and what's bad. It's a flaw in all of government and public procurement, isn't it? But it's particularly pertinent. It's particularly pertinent in IT. I'm short of time, so I just want to run one thing by you, Paul. You may not know this, but it's the front page of one newspaper today. The architect of the faulty Horizon IT system, who gave evidence that was used to convict sub-postmasters, has demanded immunity from prosecution before agreeing to appear at the public inquiry. What do you make of that?
That's a difficult one. I mean, you'll never be able to point to a single person as the single sort of source of all the problems that have occurred from that system. They're many layered and usually the problems actually stem from management.
So do you think he maybe has a point? Do you think he maybe has a point? He doesn't want to incriminate himself, but he does want to give evidence.
I think he might have a point. Yeah, I think he might.
Interesting.
Have a point.
I'm glad I had you here to ask.